Hi everyone, and welcome to what feels like part 6000 of Phil's V10 M3 build. Right, here we are, bright and early on Monday morning. Got hopefully quite a lot of right hand ratchet action planned this week. We're going to be tightening some things on for the last time. We have in these boxes fuel and brake lines, new Bimmerworld second pump kit, Walbro in tank pump, lines and tools to make the lines in the bottom box. So that's all going to go in. You know, it's going to take a bit of time to make brake lines. Need to refit all the ABS, master cylinder, all that sort of stuff, and make the lines to go into that. And then to finish it off, we're going to put the subframe on, put the discs, put the brakes on the back, and you know, the car's going to have some back wheels again. We are about to fit a Walbro pump in the feed side, and on the return side we have an extra pump that goes in, which is this kit from Bimmerworld, which I guess is just another one of those or very similar to it. So just let's not smash that up. Sorry Phil, your fuel gauge is wrong now. Right, now I've popped this hat out of the tank. I can demonstrate a bit better what this does and what we're doing. So this is the standard return hat. Return comes down here. This is the siphon line, which runs from this side of the tank over to this side, near where the fuel pump, where the feed pump goes. So basically what we were doing is we're removing the standard suction siphon system, which, you know, works okay on a road car, but if you're on track you can end up with, you know, all the fuel on this side and no fuel in your pump. So what the Bimmerworld kit does is replaces this suction system with a second pump, and basically just feeds externally back over the top into this side. So yeah, I've got to remove all this suction system and fit a pipe over the top. Well, that was easier than I expected. RIP you lot. Next bit in the hole. So you have to be careful which way this new hat goes in the tank. The feed and the return have to point towards the front of the car, otherwise it doesn't fit. So that is the correct way. Just make sure I'm not going to twist the level sensor, because that would be bad. Okay, seems free, so in it goes. Easy as that. Right then, onto the feed side. This is your standard BMW, I presume it's a standard BMW fuel pump. If it's not, I don't know what it is, and it was fitted a long time ago, and it's full of yummy brown fuel that keeps going on me. So yeah, that's going to be replaced with a nice new Walbro. I think it's a Walbro, I think it's a 450 pump. Yeah, a new style Walbro 450 pump. I should say, if Starkey does his job properly, by the time this video goes out, this kit will be available on the Driftworks shop, part number GST 400 003, and it's basically just a E46 direct replacement kit with a Walbro 450 pump. So yeah, come get some. I guess the only thing to be said is I'll follow the instructions, swap that over, and we'll get it in the tank. And just a quick note, if you do end up seeing my bum crack today, I forgot my overalls. I'm terribly sorry, and just avert your eyes, you pervs. Just chose to snip that off, and I'm just going to slice down there with a blade, because this is plastic and probably quite brittle, and I don't just want to snap that off. So yeah, give me a minute, I'll remove that, and we'll get on with installing the new one. There we go. happy with that. Let's try again. No. Well, there we go. Simple as that. I mean, the worst bit was trying to get the cable tie in that they used to retain it, but one thing left to do, and that's make a mess. Right, back to this Bimmerworld kit. This now is the return, which needs to be connected to whatever line I make that comes back from the engine, or just come back from the fuel filter on this one. This is the new crossover pipe, which was that inside the tank at one point, and it just runs from there to there. It does mention in the instructions that you need to drill out this. It's a blank, but for whatever reason on ours, it's already drilled, so or it's already, you know, uncovered, so that's good for me, I guess. It's quite a nice kit. I mean, it comes with an adapter to adapt this, I think this is 12mm line down to 8mm for the standard return. It's got the wiring that we need and all the clips, so, you know, I guess that's what you get if you buy a proper kit. Well, that's that, ready to go back in the car. I have to do the wiring when it's back in because it comes through the plates in the seats, so I'll just clip that to those for now for safekeeping, and we'll move on to making some brake lines. Right, so next up on to at least planning where the brake pipes are going to go. Luckily around here we have another one that's lovely and factory, and all the brake pipes are still installed, so I can see at the top here where they run. Just going to put this thing up in the air so I can see where they run underneath the car, and as long as it's not going to cause any interference with the massive engine that we've wedged in the other one, I'll run them exactly as factory, because, you know, that's the nicest way to do things. Right, here we are under the CSL, and it looks pretty straightforward. They just run down this side of the chassis. Now, before, on the old V10 build, these were moved to the other side of this, chassis rail, because the exhaust came down there, but now Phil's got carried away with this new 10-into-1 thing. All this space is open again, so I'm just going to run the fuel filter's going to go back to the standard position, all the fuel hoses and brake lines are going to go back to the standard position, and we're going to either try and find or buy some of these factory clips so everything can go back to normal. And in other news, we've got ourselves a nice pipe straightener. It's the first time I've ever used one of these, because, you know, when you do brake pipe normally it just comes out as a wobbly mess, but with this thing it's basically a roller system. You just run the pipe through it and get all the horrible kinks out, so that'll be pleasant, because we talked about buying the pipes direct from BMW, but if it's anything like they used to be, brake pipes come the right length with fittings on the end, but you still have to bend them yourself. So we decided that since the dealers are still shut, and, you know, it only basically put fittings on the end of the pipes, we'll just make them like we would normally, so that's what we're going to do. So I've done a bit of planning. First pipe that I'm going to make is the driver's side here in the UK, rear brake line. Goes from this bracket here, it goes up across the floor, basically down here, wangles around here, down and straight down there to the front of the car. So to make it a bit easier to handle and build these two rear brake pipes, I'm going to put a join on both of them somewhere around where the fuel filter goes. If I can get this to look like a sort of factory, I'm going to be pretty happy with it. It's going to take a bit of time, but let's see how we get on. To give myself a bit of a chance of doing this right and neatly, I've been and stolen some welding wire off, or welding rod off Craig. It's easy to bend. Just gonna, you know, get the shape out of that first. I know roughly where it needs to go now, so let's transfer that over to the real pipe. Well, there we go, a little bit of time later. We're finally getting somewhere. It's just getting a little bit out of control here. It's starting to get a bit bendy again by this fitting, so I'm going to go and put this this length back in the roller, straighten it all out, and then we'll come back to this point and carry on. Still quite a long way to go. Right, working round, I've got this pipe to this line even to a point where I'm quite happy with it. We've got a bit of a shortage of clips at the moment. Been trying to get through to the local dealer, which apparently are open for trade, so I'm hoping I'm going to get a call back today and I can get some more plastic clips, as well as some other bits and pieces that I've been saving up to order. Yes, hopefully that's going to happen pretty soon, because I'd like to get these permanently held, because these, I think they're Land Rover or Range Rover clips, are slightly too big for the bosses in the floor, so you know they can't stay there for good, but to hold it in place to make the shape, perfect. Well, there we go, that's this pipe made it down to the front. It's pretty straight, you know, I'm pretty happy with that. It follows the contour there quite nicely. There's going to be another clip here to support it. This, well, not the same as that, the actual one for an E46, but yeah, I'm happy with that. We're going to put a joiner somewhere down here, depending on where the fuel filter ends up, because I don't think it can quite live on its factory bracket, because we're using a slightly different one from a different car. But yeah, next thing I guess is make the passenger side one to exactly match this where it needs to. So I gave the dealer about 24 hours to ring me back about bits and pieces that I need, and they don't seem to be very keen, so we're getting quite desperate for more of these. So I've come to Can You Just Ed, and can you just print me some?
No problem.
That's the spirit. I normally hate the future, but this is actually a bonus that we've got. Well, there we go, a couple of minutes later and we have a design ready to print. So I guess hit the button and we'll see what they come out like. There we go, 6 brake pipe clips coming straight up. Right, I've just had the nod that the clips are fully finished. I have never removed anything from this before, but how hard can it be? Oh, easy as that. Well, hopefully that's how you do it anyway, and I haven't broken anything. Right, Ed has mentioned that if anyone's got any questions, we're printing this in ASA, which apparently is good for 150 degrees, so should be able to cope with the brake, or at least a little brake pipe anyway. So let's go and try them on the car. Well, there's a stud. Let's attempt to just screw it on and make sure it doesn't come off. Well, that passes the test. That will do the job nicely. So, on to flaring. Lucky for us, Craig's got this lovely tool that works a bit better than those things that look like a G-clamp that you just wind on the bottom of your car. Basically it's a two-sided die, so pipe is in the tool, flush with the end of the die, and let's not get this backwards and wreck this pipe now I've come this far. But operation 1 is that one. Drop that in there. See if I can do this one-handed. It's quite a good thing. It's quite easy to operate, so give it a squeeze. Flip of the die. Give it another squeeze. Oh, quite hard one-handed, but anyway, let me put this down, finish this, and you can have a look at the finished thing. Easy as that. Let's go and get some more done. Well, There's the first pipe in position. Looks quite respectable, if I do say so myself. I'm quite happy with that. The next one's going to be the more upsetting one, because I want all this to line up nicely, so it's going to take me a little bit of fiddling, I'm sure, but our printed clips are working out just about perfectly. I have managed to get an order in at the local BMW dealer now. We're going to be using, if that focuses, factory clips for the fuel lines and the brake lines on this section, so these are just going to get cable tied up for today. Anything that's hidden behind the tank will be using, or under the subframe, will be using our printed clips, because that means I can carry on at the moment. So yeah, sweet. Let's get the second pipe in. Well, there we go. That is 2 brake pipes now complete. I've got it as best I can around here to be as symmetrical and straight as possible. It's not going to keep me awake at night, let's put it that way. It looks pretty reasonable. This section here, I haven't put the final bend in here yet, because the factory clips go from mounting on the floor there, and then they flip round onto the side, onto the bottom, onto the side of the chassis rail. So I'm going to put that final bend in when the clips come next week. But other than that, we have rear brake pipes, which only means one thing: it's time to put the tank in, and then the subframe on, and then the wheels on, and then it's sort of a car, but a bit more like a wheelbarrow, but it's a step forward anyway. This is it. Start big things. First piece of the car is going to go back in that doesn't need to come out again, in theory, unless I've done something wrong. But yeah, tank's going in, followed by the subframe. Yeah, I've got everything ready to go, so anything left to do is put it in. You're not lucky today, because I've remembered my overalls, so you don't have to look down the crack of my pants. Lack of takeaways is taking its toll on me, and I keep losing my trousers, so I don't know if that's good or bad, but I miss them. But I'm going to put a tank in anyway. Oh, let's do it. Figured it out in the end with only minor concussion, or is my head bleeding? Might be, whatever. It's going in. Tank's in. Okay then, time to fit this subframe. It's quite a fiddly task on your own, so I'm taking it pretty slowly, but just trying to line up these studs that come out the chassis into the front of the subframe first. If I can slot those in and get some nuts on, then we're home free, but can't really do it holding the camera, so I'm gonna have to put you down and catch you when the thing is sort of attached to the car. I think we're good. One side's on, better check the other. That wasn't too bad. It's slotted on, so as long as I can get the nuts and bolts in, we're good to go. Going up. How good's that? Just got to torque them up to spec. 106 foot-pounds apparently is the correct torque for these, so we'll get that done and move on to the trailing arms. It feels pretty tight. I'm just going to check this is working. Yes, it's working. It's just tight above your head, so oh, here we go. Sorry, camera. Sweet. Right then, just the trailing arms. Going to give the bolts a generous coating of anti-seize, because anyone with a BMW will know if these snap off in your floor, it's basically, I don't know, in my opinion, you might as well just weigh the car in. But no, it's that bad a time to try and get them out, so let's try and stop them rusting in, and this job will then be, well, I say done, but there's still quite a lot to do, putting the brakes and stuff back on, but it'll be a lot further along than it was this morning. Right, don't want to do those up tight yet. No point till it has its final alignment done, so as long as they're nipped, that's fine for now. Nothing's going to hit me on the head. I'll just get the other side done, and that's quite a step forward for this thing, so I'll catch you in a little bit. Well, there we go, let's have a bit of an inspection. Pretty happy with how that looks. So yeah, that's going to be it for tonight. It's almost 5:30 and I want to actually get my own engine out, so start again on that in the morning. We're going to build up the back brakes and put the back shocks and stuff on, so I'll catch you in the morning with a cup of tea. So I left it last night with the subframe now connected. I guess the next thing to do is fit some handbrake shoes, put some discs on. We've got some used discs that'll do just to get the thing complete. We haven't decided, I don't think, which rear brake kit we're using yet. We've got a set of stop techs and we've got a full set of APs, so Phil can make his mind up and we'll fit whichever one he wants, but I'm going to complete this, fit a shock and call the back end complete. This is a very good example of why this is taking so long. If we just look at this headlight aim adjuster on the back subframe, just trying to save it basically. Just look at the state of that bolt. Now I've got I've got replacement metalwork from the Z4, but trying not to break the plastic arm and, you know, save as much as we can, because I guess these are probably pretty expensive from BMW and it's still got the factory xenon lights, so it'd be nice to have it all working. So yeah, you'll have to bear with me. It's you know, everything takes longer than expected with cars, and this is why. Victory is mine. Watch me drop it on the floor now and snap the thing after all this, but yeah, I'm not going to do that. There we go, that's much better. Am I going too far? I don't know. It feels like something that I've always wanted to do, doing it this way, and while I've got the chance, you know, making the most of it. But yeah, anyway, next up, I need to clean this lot up because it's a bit grotty from sitting under the car, and it's a very nice kit that's barely had any use, so I'll give this a clean and a polish and we'll get on with fitting it. Well, this is this bracket that I've spent probably too long on as we took it off, and this is it today, much better. I've just been, well, once again probably spending far too long looking for bolts for it. These are the factory ones. I don't know if I should, but it gives me quite a lot of pleasure in using the proper bolt with the proper marking on, instead of, you know, something like that which would do the job just perfectly. But I don't know, maybe it's just my weird head, but it's nice to use the proper bolts. I've got our rear struts now cleaned up. They look basically like brand new, so that's positive. They're quite a special bit of kit. As far as we understand, they're Tom Schirmer valve nitrons, so they'll be plenty good enough for what we're going to do. Just a quick note, because I know there's going to be comments, we're not going to be running the, I think they're Z3M strut top reinforcements on this, because we've got the Specialised Motorsport Engineering strut bar that we fitted a few months ago. You can go back and watch that video if you want to. The top of the struts are like, they're probably 8 or 10 mil thick with the kit on, so no need for it on this one, so save your keyboards, we've got this covered. Right, we've got the strut hung in the car now. Not putting springs in at the moment. I don't know what Phil wants to run, I don't know what this kit came with, so for now I'm going to leave those out and basically just fit in the struts so that the arms aren't hanging off their own weight. Yeah, so that's something I need to speak to him about next time I see him. But anyway, let's get on with fitting this. So we've got it covered in space grease, anti-seize. It's just bolted up. Cool. And just because I made so much fuss over it earlier on, that makes me very happy. I'm going to sleep well tonight. Here's a phrase you're never going to have heard before. Brake shoes, I really miss them. They were a brilliant idea. Said nobody ever. Fiddly spring, oh, just, they can go in the bin in the past where they belong. Anyway, I've got them on. One more side to go and I can put those ugly discs on. Time to put some discs on this thing. I'm not going to bother adjusting them because look at the state of those. It's a bit upsetting, to be honest, after all the time I've spent making the underneath look nice, to put these disgusting Titanic brake discs on, but whatever, they'll fill the space up for now until we choose the brake kit and put the right ones on. Hate brake shoes. Stupid things. Wouldn't mind if they were actually good, but you know, old BMWs are not exactly known for their super powerful handbrake, are they? What can you do? Anyway, oh, that is a thing of beauty. I'm very happy with that. I've still got to put the little panel back in the boot there. That's where the remote reservoirs for the shocks mount to, and obviously we've got to put the calipers on to fix the brake pipes, but that is a big step forward. I think it's time to do something a little bit exciting to end this episode, so give me a minute and I'll do a nice little ending for you. Would you look at that? It's been a few months since we had one of those attached, eh? Pretty happy with that. I mean, ignore the width, the dish, the colour, the offset, and obviously the arch gap, because you know that ain't cool. But we have a wheel on the car. Pretty excited about that. I guess that's what I'm going to call it this week. So the only things left to say are thanks for watching. Follow the company at driftworks.com. Follow the big boss man, Phil Morrison DW, on the gram. Oh, one glove.
At Driftworks, we've helped over 50,000 happy customers since 2004. Our huge online parts store is simple to use, with superb shipping rates to anywhere in the world, and finance options available for UK customers. We live and breathe wheel fitment, so if you have any questions about your own car or any of our products before placing an order, please drop us an email at shop@driftworks.com or give us a call. Thanks for watching.